It's a beautiful day. Or is it? Nice blue sky today. A few clouds about. Just a few. That's the good side. Here's the not so good side. That is what is heading over here soon. Looks pretty aggressive. It's a nice metaphor for life, perhaps. The good, the bad, the light, the dark, the positive, the negative. It goes on. Today I want to talk about my mental health and give an update on how things have been recently. I don't think enough time gets given to just reflecting on the pressures and the drama and the stress and the frustration and all those different sort of emotions that bounce around in day-to-day life sometimes. So I thought I'd take a few minutes to give you some reflections on what's been happening lately. So before the rain comes, the wind is here, definitely. The end of the summer holidays, kids are back to school, all that kind of stuff. So that's good for me, and I'm sure for many of you as well who've got kids or who've had to kind of juggle a lot of stuff over the summer. I found this summer's been incredibly hectic because work's been super busy. There's been a lot going on with activities and events happening over the summer holidays. So there's been a lot of on-site activity happening, and there's also a lot of planning going into events that are happening this September, so this month. So, and things are just sort of picking up speed, going from sort of a fourth to potentially a fifth gear, I guess, in terms of like the work. So things are picking up, and we've had the kids home over the summer because school's been out, and luckily my wife's been home, so she's been off with the kids, and I've been taking days off as needed to kind of help out and do my bit and spend time with my kids while they're home. So we've not been away or anything this year. Can't really afford it, to be fair. And so we've had some days out here and there, which has been nice. But yeah, it's draining at home, trying to keep the kids busy, doing stuff, trying not to spend too much money. Everything costs these days. It costs just to go across the other side of town. We're trying to do stuff cheap and cheerful where we can and make the most of some of the things that's around us, like taking the kids to the local park, going swimming, going out for walks, making the most of the weather, just enjoying the garden even. That's been a nice thing to have. But yes, definitely, I feel bad that I'm glad that my kids are going back to school. I do. I feel guilty for saying that because I love it when the kids are off, usually. It's quality time that we get to spend together. But it's so draining. It's Groundhog Day. It really is. And I know my wife has it a lot harder than I do because she's at home with them every day over the holidays. It's worked in our favour in a way, but it means she doesn't get a break. So I've been trying to take some days off here and there just to kind of take the pressure off my wife a bit, and let her have the lie in, let her have some cool down time, or just have a bit of me time, like for herself as well. Because I appreciate what it's like when you've got 3 kids or however many kids, at home every single day. And when you're off work, it's normally because you're taking time off to chill or to do something leisurely or fun. Not that spending time with your kids isn't fun, but it's always got its challenges as well. So, um, you know, give her a bit of recuperation time. So, yeah, so it's been quite full on with the kids at times. Just trying to juggle their different needs as well because they're all different ages. And, my youngest is only 4, so she's still kind of heavily influenced by everyone who's around her. So, picking up anything that's going on around her. So, all the bad stuff, she hears someone swear, the next thing she's repeating it. So, we're having to be quite hands on in in that way, and her sisters are, yeah, her two older sisters can be quite influential as well, like for better and for worse. So trying to kind of train them in a way into being good with it around their little sister, so she's not copying the bad stuff too much. It's a different side of parenting that I not really experienced until the last kind of year or two, really, I suppose, as our little ones got a bit older. So we never had that trouble with the other two because they're quite close in age, so it's not been too bad. Yeah, juggling work and family lately has been kind of 98% of my time. It's been quite full on. So there's not been a lot of time to do much else, really, other than sleep if I can and get a bit of relaxation time here and there. So I've been trying to spend a bit of time reading, something I've been getting into more and more lately. I've always been a reader, and yeah, over this last couple of years or so, I've just lost all interest in it, like completely. And just in the last 3 or 4 months or so, I think I've started to get back into it. I always seem to have a book on the go here and there. So I always seem to have a book on the go. So that's been quite good. It's getting me off the screen as well, stopping me like scrolling on the phone and that kind of thing. And I've been trying to make a point of finding good books as well. So looking at authors that I'm interested in, looking at some of the chart books that are out, the bestsellers in some of the genres I like. So that way I'm immediately kind of halfway there in terms of piquing my interest, and I'm likely to keep going with the book, and it's helping my concentration skills to be able to focus on reading a book that I'm interested in. So it might sound quite obvious to do something like that, but it makes a big difference to try and focus my energy in that kind of way when it comes to reading at the moment, because I haven't got the patience or attention span to read something that I'm not that interested in. And at the minute, I'm reading kind of for escapism, really, to chill my mind out, to relax, to de-stress, just to give myself a bit of me time. So I want to read something I'm going to enjoy, read something I'm interested in. So, I'm not reading any reference books at the minute, no non-fiction, anything like that. It's all about the fiction at the moment. It's all about the storytelling. It's all about reading about someone else somewhere else. So that's working for me. So that's been quite nice to be able to tap into that, I think, as something else I can use to help me when I'm feeling stressed or frustrated, or I just need a bit of downtime, or switch my brain off a bit from a busy day or whatever's been going on. So that's been quite it's been really good to have. Starting to get super cloudy. All the blue sky is gone now, just about. If I'm really lucky, I'll have missed this rain, because the clouds are dark as hell, but so far, no rain. So that's good. So lately, I've been trying to tap into some of those activities that I can do that will give me a bit of calm, give me a bit of relaxation, give me a bit of chill time, a bit of me time that I need in the day. Because, as my life's been getting busier and busier for me, it's been pushing me to try and stay quite level-headed and not get too stressed, and try to kind of maintain a balance, because when that balance goes off, it's really hard to focus on anything. I lose that care and that willpower and that interest in my own integrity and my own sense of worth and sense of self, and being there for other people as well. You've got to be there for yourself, but a big part of my life is also serving those people around me. So, I'm looking out for my wife and my kids. It's important for me that I do a good job. I enjoy the job I do, and so my colleagues, my peers, and my friends, and I want to be seen, I want to be heard. and I want that to be in a positive light as best as I can, or at least in a yeah, I want that to be in a positive light. So I'm trying to do what feels right for my normal, but also I need to pay attention to my own needs and what they are, and definitely trying to strike that balance is super hard between the two, because if I'm thinking of my needs, then I'll have a slower day, I'll have a calmer day, I'll take some time to have a walk. um, I'll reduce the number of activities I've got going on in a day. I'll try and put myself around positive people or positive experiences. So that might be, I'll watch some comedy on TV. It might be I'll spend some time having a good chat with someone at work who's got a shared interest of mine. It could be anything. It could just be watching a silly YouTube video about cats or something. The silly stuff that kind of can make you laugh. That's kind of mindless, but it's serves its purpose. So yeah, on a day like that, that's where my head is at, and that's what my needs are. But sometimes they can feel like less productive days, and that can, that's where the guilt kicks in for me sometimes. Like, it's difficult to kind of juggle, actually, like what your needs are on a day and what other people's needs are, and what commitments you might have made to other people as well. And if people are relying on you, trying to fulfill your commitments to other people whilst kind of battling that kind of headspace is really difficult some days. And sometimes it can mean, I just need to make some adjustments. I need to cool off, make some changes to the day and give my apologies, move things around. Or it could be that, I'm just honest with people and just say, look, I'm not in a good headspace today, and I need to, take a rain check on what we're meant to be doing, or even in my own plans. I might have been thinking, oh, I'll go to the allotment today and I'll spend the day doing loads of stuff. I'll take the kids with me. We'll have a really good day. But that can feel like too much like work sometimes. So, it might be that we just go for 20 minutes, do a little bit of watering, do a bit of pottering about, and leave it at that. At least I've done it, but I haven't done what I'd set out to do. So, I can still feel bad for that, because, that the intent was, not just ticking off going, it was to go there to do something substantial, and completing that would have been a big positive for me. So not spending a decent amount of time there and just doing a quick job doesn't always feel like a success. It's what way you want to look at it, really. And it's easy to end up twisting and turning with this kind of stuff. So that the fact that I went to the allotment for 10 minutes with my kids, is a win. It is a win in the sense of like getting out, being active. I still went, when I wanted to go. But, I'm not going there for those reasons. So, the whole reason for me going wasn't fulfilled. So you can end up beating yourself up over that kind of stuff. And, that example can be put into any situation where your original intent was to do something specific, and then you've not done that specific thing. You still went ahead with what you were doing, but the outcome's different. So you don't feel satisfied, you don't feel happy, you don't feel fulfilled. You end up feeling guilty for it, and then you think, well, I've got to go back again. Then you're almost like putting things off to another time, because quite often you still got to go back and repeat what you missed out on. You don't always get to cut corners, kind of thing, and kind of get away with it, I suppose. But it feels a bit trivial talking about this kind of stuff, but actually it's the kind of stuff that juggles around in my head a lot, day to day, when I'm making commitments or making decisions, or just looking at what I want to be doing and then what I am doing and what I need to do, what I want to do, what my needs are, what other people's needs are, and just balancing all that. You know, it's a tough one. I think we all have to find the balance of our mindset one way or another. But what always pulls me is that unpredictability of how I'm feeling day to day, sometimes times within a day. And it's not even a mood swing necessarily, it's just how I'm impacted by things that are going on around me, and then how I'm feeling as well. Like some days I just feel naturally relaxed, calm, positive even. And then other days I'm naturally feeling quite withdrawn, quite insular, and not really feeling energized by anything. And that's not because I'm tired or, some of those things that you can explain away very easily. I guess it's my depression and anxiety really. So that's the tricky side for me. So, well, that's my update for today. If you have anything you'd like to share about anything I've talked about, do pop a comment down below. I'd be keen as always to hear from you. And I'm going to go because it's chucking it down there now. Thanks for joining. See you on the next video.